been, I think women have always, like throughout time, been attracted to older men for a variety of different reasons that I'm not going to name. But Corey, did you want to try saying something?
Nah, go ahead. I was trying to see if it was back. I'm
You're
probably
you're
not.
you sound good now. Did you want to speak? Did you want to speak on the last topic before we get to this one?
What I said on the last thing is on the people on how to build a foundation. And when I said that, I got talked about in the comments like I was saying something wrong. If you want to build your foundation on sex, then that's just you and your preference, you and that person preference. Now, when somebody say have a conversation, everybody is applauding. Like, what did I say wrong? Shit, you still have to have a conversation about building that preference on what the hell y'all want to do. If y'all want to be intimate like that. So I mean, I don't think I said nothing wrong, but yeah, you just got weird people in the comments.
Okay. All right. Please go back on mute for me. We're gonna move on to the next topic then. So, like I was saying, again, I think just throughout time, women have always been attracted to older men for a lot of different reasons. I mean, as even as young boys, especially like starting in middle school, we all saw, like, girls in sixth grade dating eighth graders. As you went up the grades, you saw girls in middle school start dating high schoolers. When you was in high school, I don't know, y'all seen this too. There was freshmen dating seniors. You start getting into your sophomore and your junior year. There's women that are dating guys in college. Before I think we didn't have open lunch until like 11th or 12th grade. But even in like 10th grade and 11th grade, girls would be leaving at lunchtime because whoever would be coming to pick them up and take them out for lunch and bringing them back to school. Whoever was bringing them, I don't know. I'm a guy. I wasn't afforded that opportunity. But the point, what I want to get y'all insight on is, as women get older, I was talking about this earlier. As they get older, their standards increase. You know, as when for whatever reason, a lot of them when they're younger in their 20s, they don't care about the guy that got like a actual day job, pays taxes, he got dental insurance, he got health insurance, he got life insurance, he has a car, he has a retirement plan, he has his own space. For whatever reason, a lot of those guys are not attractive to a lot of women of a specific demographic. I'm not going to say what demographic it is. If you know what it is, you know what it is. If you just, if you've ever been outside, if you've spent any little bit of time outside with women in their early to mid 20s, you can take a wild guess of what demographic of women really aren't interested in these type of men. When these women are in their younger years, Jaquante is very attractive. Davion, Levante, Keontae, no day job, but these men are afforded the opportunities. Women move these men into their apartments. They don't require these men to have a job. These men use their car, drop them off at work. These men drive throughout the city all day, go to the gas station, buy some grab a leaf, buy some swishers, go smoke weed in their apartment. You know what I'm saying? Have to go pick her up, after she get off of work, bring her back home. She gonna cook for him. And he just got to sit there and play the game. He got to sleep with her, and that's all she got to do. But then, after those women get ran through by those guys, after they get dogged out, become single mothers, now when they got little peanut head Keenan that got 7 cavities in his mouth and his little sister, now they want to, go to those guys that been working on themselves and doing the right thing and have them clean up the mess that all those other guys made. But aside from that, I want to know why. I want to know why this, because I have relationships with older women, and a lot of these women don't be having anything positive to say about men, even in their age demographic, in their late 30s, in their early mid 40s. they don't be having anything positive to say about these men. But they don't want to date younger men. And you know, a lot of older women don't have the opportunity to date older men, right? Or younger men, right? We're not going to act like that's like a reality for most women, the same way it's not a reality for most men, but we're talking about women right now. But for the woman like Miss Dr. Cassie J. Becoming herself, that have their pick of the litter, um, why do y'all think? Why, Miss Cass? Why do you think? And to the ladies in here, why do y'all think it is that older women that actually have, you know, younger men that have an interest in them and want to date them? Why do y'all think that these women either like are completely against it, or like have a hard time, like, you know, taking like a younger man serious?
Okay. So I don't personally, like, I'm not personally against it. I told you I'm 44, but I would date someone within the range of 36 to on up. You know what I'm saying? They just can't be my child's age, nowhere near my child's age. Never ever. In no, because the thing is I believe it's about life experiences. It's about their core values. I'm looking at things where we align. I think that that is the most important thing, and I think many times it's very difficult to find, or to come across, men consistently that share your core values, that have, the wherewithal and the life experience that you may have. And sometimes I think women are against it because they can't find those points where we can make that connection and we can keep that connection. And I think that's important because women do look for security, and women also look for someone who is able to bring a certain form of leadership to their life. I don't want to be raising somebody else's son. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just being honest.
Yeah,
I
makes
have my own
sense.
son, that I've raised. I
Right.
don't want to. I don't want to in a relationship. I don't want it to seem like I'm raising someone's child because I'm done having kids. You know what I'm saying? So I think many times it's that aspect, that they close their minds to it because I can tell you many women, that are 40 and up, they probably had that experience where they've dated someone, younger at some point. However, that experience probably wasn't a great experience. And so because of that, they don't want to, do it again. But it doesn't necessarily mean that there aren't men who are younger who are capable of meeting, the needs and the desires of an older woman. So I say be open to it, but again, it's your personal, and independent, experience that matters. If you know that's not something you're willing to do, then I get it. But I'm open to it. I don't want to put a I don't want to put a stopper on something simply because of an age, because I know men that are in their 50s who are just as immature as 20-year-olds. And that's
Right. Right. I mean, me personally, I don't link age directly with maturity. I think there are more older people that are more mature than younger people, but I think there's a lot of men that are in their late 20s all the way to even their mid 30s, that are very mature, you know, that have their quote unquote ish together. Um, and that, yeah, there may be like an age gap between him and the woman, but I think that they can still connect with one another if the woman actually like gave like the man a chance, if she actually like tried it out. And I want to hear what I'm about to say something. Me personally, Miss Cass, I think a lot of older women, I think a lot of older women are turned off to dating younger men because of other women. Um, I think the judgment that they'll receive, and the criticism that they'll receive from other women is the reason that a lot of older women don't want to date younger men because, as you know, um, older men don't have any issue dating younger women. There's not going to be like a 44-year-old man that sees another 44-year-old man dating a 28-year-old woman and be like, "Oh, you're so wrong for that," and this,
No,
that.
they're going to be applauded for it unless it's
Right,
their daughter.
exactly.
Unless it's their
Exactly.
daughter,
Right.
they're going to be applauded for it.
Right, but it's the older, because again, we're just gonna be real here. A lot of women in their mid 40s don't look like Miss Cass. They don't have the cachet that Miss Cass has. So because a lot of those women don't have the same opportunities that she has, a lot of these and that other women like Miss Cass have, when they see these women that are in their age demographic dating these younger men, they feel some sort of way about it. I'd like there's older women at the same way they'll try to age shame, men that want nothing to do with them in their age demographic for dating younger women. They age shame those same women that are in their age demographic for dating younger men.
Yeah, I think it happens, but I don't know that. No, let me tell you something. Women at my age range, honey, we don't give a darn about what other women say. Let me tell you, not the mature ones.
Shit.
The mature ones, we don't care. And, and I'm being very honest. It's the ones who still have insecurities that really care. The ones like me, honey, that has never been my problem. I could care less about what anybody thinks. If I want to go get a 30-year-old man and I want to do whatever I want to, and I want to flaunt him around, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it in my heels and my short dress on or whatever else, and look like some of these 28, 30-year-olds doing it.
Right. Right.
But at the end of the day, I think single women keep single women single too. I really do. I believe many times single women keep women single. And so I think for those who do care, yeah, they will say something about it, but it's only because of they're sipping on E and J. And when I say sipping on E and J, I'm not
Envy
talking
and
about
jealousy.
dirt, but I'm talking about envy and jealousy. You already know.
Right.
So that's all it is. That's what they're doing. They're sipping on envy and jealousy because they aren't able to do the same thing. But hey, that's not my problem. That's your issue. Work on it.
Right. But okay, so you and I talked about this before. So Miss Cass, you don't think, even if it's indirectly, and we had a conversation about resentment, you don't think there's a lot of women in your age demographic that will have some E and J for you and have some like secret resentment for you simply because they're not afforded the same opportunities that you're afforded?
Absolutely. I mean, because to err is human. And the thing is sometimes people don't even realize they're triggered by something until they're triggered by it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think it happens. I'd be a fool to believe that it doesn't. But yeah, I think it happens, and I think it happens a lot.
So I know you don't like feel any sort of way about it, because you've been getting attention like your whole life or whatever. But being that we're having this conversation, being that that a lot of women in your age demographic aren't afforded the same opportunities that you have, do you not have even just the slightest bit of gratefulness that, 4 kids later, 44 years later, that you're still seen in a very high light, by even young men, obviously men your age demographic and older men gonna see you in a certain light, but even younger men, like you don't that doesn't it doesn't make you smile even the slightest bit.
I'm thankful. I mean, I'm thankful, but I attribute that to not being outside all the time when I was young. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
wasn't, I've never been that type of girl. I had my fun in college or whatever, but right after that, I got married. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't really. I took care of myself, and it comes from also having great genes, because you see my mom at 65 and she's absolutely freaking beautiful. So I attribute it to that, but I'm thankful, but that's not something that I'm gonna rub in somebody else's face, because I'm not the most beautiful, I'm not the finest, but I'm very secure in who I am. And for people that may have issues, I would admonish them, work on your strengths, and whatever your weaknesses are, make those weaknesses become strengths. Work on yourself instead of taking the time to focus on someone else, because that's what I've done in my life, and that's why I have the attitude that I have today. I don't really worry about anyone else in regards to what they have going on in their life, and that has served me well, because I just wanted to focus on making myself better. I've always tried to make my weaknesses become strengths, and my strengths be literally my driving force in life. And that's what I've done.
Do you feel you've always had a strong sense of discernment?
I don't feel I know. Yeah, I know. I know I have. But I think that comes from being raised the way that I was raised, and having a mother and a father who guided me in life. They did a great job. I had amazing parents, absolutely amazing parents. So just them having conversations with me, and my siblings growing up, and ensuring that we became self-aware, speaking life into us on a consistent basis, trusting in us as individuals very young, and then just kind of pushing us into our purpose. I think that kind of helped to garner more discernment, because I think that you have to go through things in order for discernment to become greater. And I think mine became pretty keen because of all of that, all of those factors together.
And I just asked because someone like yourself, when it pertaining to like dating and relationships, you do, and you always have, and you're going to continue to attract like a myriad of like different men. So when you have all of that like on, um just having the discernment to be able to like sniff out BS, or being able to instantly tell like this is a no-go. I can imagine. I'm not a woman, but I could only imagine.
But you have to be self-aware, though. That's the thing. I mean, man, that taking the time to introspect is one of the greatest things you can do in life. Because when you get to know yourself, it is almost impossible. It's almost impossible to let someone come in and try to change you. It's easy to impress upon people that are plastic. But when you are made of glass, and you've been tested and tried under the fire, it's in, and that's, you think about glass, how glass is shaped. They have to put it in under the fire in order to shape it. But with plastic, of course, it's easily bendable.
Right.
It's easily moved, it's easily manipulated. And so you want to be that glass in your life, and the only way to do that is to, number one, be responsible, be accountable, and introspect. Get naked in front of that mirror every single day. Self reflection is going to be the thing that makes you grow as a person. And once you've grown as a person and you know who you are going to be able to, like you said, sniff those things out, because you're going to set boundaries, and you're going to have standards for yourself. And when those boundaries and those standards are pressed or broken or violated, you're not going to second guess if you're going to walk away. You simply do it. That's when ghosting really come into play. I, look, I don't even have a conversation, and I can tell you, as of late, there were two guys like that I was getting in the getting to know vetting stages, and it probably 8 weeks, just talking and all of that stuff, and I have a specific boundary, and that boundary is, you know, if you text me and we're in a conversation, if it takes you 4 days to respond to me and there wasn't a life issue, I block you. It's no more conversations after that. Because you're not going to waste my time.
Someone's son didn't do that to you, did they, Miss Cass?
Oh yeah, did. But it's okay. And he's tried to contact me on here and on Facebook because I blocked his number. I don't play. When I tell you my cutoff game is absolutely strong, it is absolutely strong. But it's only because I took the time to learn me.
I can't believe somebody's son would do that to you.
Honey, please. I don't know why you can't.
Some of these men got some nerves, don't they?
Boy, please. Hey, this is just being a human. That's all. Just being a human. I don't take it personally.
Miss Cass, I don't date men, but I don't think like men would be. I wouldn't think like a man would like even be playing with you like that. Cause and like both men and women, like they like if they're not interested in someone or they really just don't care about someone, they'll do that type of stuff to them. But I just wouldn't ever like foresee like somebody's son doing something like that to you.
But I do. Who am I to be exempt from life?
Right. None of us are exempt from anything happening to us, but wow.
But see, it doesn't bother me though, because again, and you know why it doesn't bother me? Because I have boundaries. I have standards, and I don't renege on it. I don't renege on myself. I don't renege on myself. If I set a boundary, for instance, before anybody calls me, you better text me and see if I'm available because you don't know what I'm doing. Right. Don't just call me.
Yeah, Miss Cass, not to cut you off. I'm the same way, Miss Cass, and I've always been that way. Like if you're not one of my parents or one of my sisters, please don't cold call me.
Right. Don't.
Like, just you don't know where I'm at. You don't know what I'm doing. You don't know what I've got going on. Send me a text and just let me know, like, hey, like I want to talk. Like, let me know when you free. Don't cold call me.
But you know what, Noble? I had men at this big grown age that disregard that, and you know what I do?
What?
I won't answer the call. I decline the call and I immediately block them. I do not play. And when I say I am that cold about my boundaries, I am that cold about my boundaries. I do not play when it comes to my boundaries, because you teach people how to treat you
by what you tolerate.
Absolutely. And I learned in my younger years that however, and I actually shared this with someone recently because they wanted some advice about something, and it was regarding a relationship. And I literally told them, I said, when we change as adults and we evolve, you will sometimes have to deconstruct what you've taught people and reteach them where you are now in your life. And if they don't like it, you cut them off. Mm-hmm. Because the thing is, we are ever changing, ever metamorphing. We are ever in a constant state of change and evolving. So the thing is what you taught someone 10 years ago may not apply today. So I may have to reteach you again so that you can know who you're dealing with today, because I'm not who I was 10 years ago.
I want to ask you a question, Ms. Cass. So I saw a video on TikTok recently. And this black woman, it was a short video. She's all she said was, I want to know, like, she said, I want to know from all the women that lost their man to like red pill slash manosphere content, um, what exactly like changed about them. So my question to you is, do you think red pill slash manosphere content, um, do you think it has had a more like this is just your personal opinion? Do you think it's had like a more positive or negative impact on men? And I want to because like even men in your age demographic partake like everyone knows about the late Kevin Samuels. Every lot, especially a lot of men in your age demographic, watch Kevin Samuels. So I say it to say there may have been things that there may have been certain ideologies and mentalities that they did not have before, or they may have not even seen woman in a certain light or expected certain things out of a woman before they started engaging with certain types of content. So I'm just curious to know, from your adventures, have you like come across any man that has said anything that kind of made you squint at him, like, yo, like who are you talking to, or like, what you think this
No,
is?
no.
Okay.
I haven't personally dealt with it. I think the men that have approached me, because I am a very traditional girl.
Right.
So I kind of draw men who are traditionally minded with maybe with a modern flair, simply because I think as Gen Xers we kind of learn from the boomers what not to do. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not traditional like my grandmother. I'm traditional and I'm not traditional like my mom, but I'm traditional in the sense that I'm going to honor my man. I want him to be able to lead, but we can both be leaders. But ultimately, you know, if somebody is giving up their life, it's going to be him. And that's the thought process for me. And my preference is not for everybody. That's okay. It's okay for you to think how you think. Um, but I think that rhetoric is just rhetoric, and it's very divisive. And I actually liked Kevin Samuels because if you really knew him from the root of who he was on men like crazy.
Right.
When he saw how profitable it could be to bring women in, that's when he shifted. So the core of who Kevin Samuels was, I believe, is who he was when he started in talking to men. Um, but some of these other people, I'm not gonna call any names, that we see on this here app. I really think it's for money. It's monetization, but it's divisive and it is detrimental to our community because the more that we are divided, the easier it is to see the downfall, even a greater downfall of our people. And I'm just being real.
Okay. So the same way, you said you believe in honoring like your man. I know that you in turn have expectations of a man that you're going to be in a committed
I don't
relationship
have
with as well.
expectations. I don't have expectations.
Okay, let me ask you this question then. Okay, if you don't want to call it expectation, okay, what do you want to call it then?
I don't have expectations because having expectations with humans, you're
Set
literally
yourself up for disappointment.
yeah, you're going to be
Right.
set up for disappointment every time. So
Right.
you set boundaries, you have standards, and if people can't meet them, then you move on.
Okay, so let me not use the word expectations. Um, how do I want to say this then? Um, so Miss Cass, you go out on a date with a man. Um, would you look at him some sort of way if this man is not opening your door, if this man is not pulling your chair out for you? Is there, again, I don't want to use the word expectations, but are there just certain gestures that a man makes that you like consider gentleman-like.
Yeah, I'm a person who believes that chivalry isn't dead. And so yeah, those are things that I would indeed teach him. If it's not something that he does already, it's something I'm going to teach him, because
Miss
you know,
Cass,
I'm telling you, because the thing is people grow up in different ways. But if it's something that, if it's a preference of mine, it doesn't make him a bad person if he doesn't do it. So why would I discount him? See, that's not something, I think that's trivial. That's not something that I believe makes or breaks the man. Now, but it's something that I am going to teach him. Hey, this is how I want to be treated. Because did I not just say that? I said, you teach people how to treat you. So I will teach him how to treat me. I will sit in the car until he comes around and opens the door. Absolutely. Oh, done it. I've done
Miss
it.
Cass,
I've done it.
Miss Cass, let's stop it. Let's stop the cap.
I'm not capping. Why do you
Miss
think I'm
Cass,
capping?
Miss Cass, you telling me if you're dating a man in your age demographic, if you, let's say you dating a man in his late 30s to early 40s, let's say late 30s to mid 40s, and this man don't know to go open up the door for you, to go open the car door for you. This man don't know to hold the door open for you. This man don't know to walk closest to the street. You're
No.
telling me you're going to have the patience to teach a grown ass man at that age to do those things?
Noble, when I say, okay, if a man has been dating multiple women, okay, let's say this again, we are not monoliths. There are going to be some women who don't care about that. But I have to teach him. I have to teach him that I am one who does. And so, because he's dating me in that moment, yes, that's something I'm going to require. But if it's not something that he immediately does, because maybe this is a first date, then I will make it known, again, by sitting in the car and waiting, or by waiting right beside him until he opens the door to the restaurant. Yes, hi Yogi. Yeah, I just believe that again, we teach people how to treat us. And if he was with a woman before, or women before, that didn't require that, then I can't expect him to just know how I am. Now, but I believe if we're in conversation, that's something that we're going to talk about anyway, because I talk about everything before I ever go out on a date with somebody. I'm talking to you 4 to 6 weeks just in conversation, because I want to get to know you to even see if I want to go on a date with you.
Right. That's how it's supposed to be.
So no, but you holding the door open for Pookeishas and stuff like that? I mean, like,
Right, Corey?
Oh, look. Let me make something clear.
no.
No, look, let me make something clear. Bruh. Look, I don't even want to speak on this, man. Listen. Okay, Corey, first of all, I'm not, a lot of like girls have like, like wrong perceptions of me. Do I have like relationships with people? I do have relationships with people. But not because I have relationships with a number of people means that they're all equally the same. It doesn't mean that everyone gets the same level of attention. It doesn't mean that everyone gets the same treatment. I don't just go out with any and everyone. Like I gotta be really locked in with you to even like take you out. Like and Corey, I've never been a guy to just take someone out for the purpose of taking them out. That's like loser behavior to me. Like just perpetually like taking a bunch of women out on dates and things of that nature. But like I said, we already gonna be locked in before I even like take you out somewhere. And yes, when I take you out, I am going to be opening doors, Corey. I'm going to be holding the door open. I'm going to be doing gentleman-like chivalrous things, because this is someone that I'm locked in with, and this is someone that I really rock with and really care about. Like,
But
you,
no, but whether you're locked in with them or not, who you are is going to be reflected in how you act anyway.
right,
You understand what I'm saying? So
right,
if I, but if a man, again, and I was being very honest when I said that, if a guy has dated women, in his recent past that didn't want that, then he may assume that the next person doesn't either. That's why I said I would be willing, but again, in conversation, yeah, that's something that would already come up in conversation. But in case it didn't come up in conversation, yeah, I'm gonna be the girl sitting in the car with my legs crossed.
okay. Before we move on really quick, what do you think is to be said about, a woman that, especially at y'all grown age, all of y'all up here are the same age. Auntie Renee, after Miss Cass speaks on this, I want you to speak on this as well. What do you think? What do you think is to be said about, like, a woman that, like, is doesn't care for those type of things? Like, Miss Cash, you grew up with your father. Like, I don't know Reverend personally, but I think most girls that, like, grew up with an active father in their life, I think their father is going, especially like when they start dating and things of that nature. I think their father is going to be telling them or informing them of certain things that, like, just basic things that a man should be doing for them. No?
Oh, absolutely. Because Rev, yeah, but again, Rev raised strong girls because not only did Rev say that, but Sister Ray said it too. Hey, this is how this is how, if a man cares about you, he's going to consider you in even the smallest things. So what you shaking your head for?
No, I'm saying right. I'm saying right.
He's going to consider you even in the smallest things, because it's just about who he is. And I think those little things really do matter. But for those women who don't, see that as something, I think that's a personal preference. It's not, again, it doesn't make or break you as a man. It doesn't mean that you're not a great man. It just could be culturally. It's just not something that you were taught. Or and that's why, again, I think, we have to consider all those factors. So if it's something that I say, for instance, a guy isn't raised by his father, and no, he had no male role models to really show him that, then it could be something that's quite foreign to him. But it shouldn't discount him as an individual and as a potential suitor. You know what I'm saying? Again, that's something I believe is minimal, that you could literally teach somebody how to treat you in that particular instance.
Right. And you know what? And we'll move on because, like you said, especially, like, when you're meeting someone new and you're getting to know someone that's new, you do need to teach them how to treat you like it's another person.